We're going to make brown rice with garbanzo beans. So just look at what I have laid out here, because I'm not going to measure anything. Because when you make these items, if you like a little more celery or a little more carrot, you do it. But this is what I'm using. And I'm only making a cup and a half. Maybe I'm making 2 cups of rice. And that's 1 cup of garbanzo beans, fresh, dried, cooked. Don't use canned stuff, only because you know what's in the can, right? Preservatives, etc., etc. So this is a better way to go. Only takes a couple of hours to cook those if you forgot to soak them overnight. And I'm going to season. You can season them like with anything, but I'm going to use a little cumin today, salt and pepper. See the amount of shallots here and garlic, but you can use onion. And then I'm going to saute the broccoli separate. Can't cook it with the rice, it'll get overcooked. I'll just cut that up in little pieces and saute it. And as far as the size of what you're going to cut this at, if you want to see more vegetable in there, so you cut them a little larger. If you don't want to see them, you dice them up very small, brunoise style. Whatever I find around, I'm using in this. I had some sun-dried tomatoes left over. I'm going to put that in there. A few bay leaves, 4 cloves of garlic, scallions I'm going to cut up and toss it at the end when everything is hot and together, and some brown rice. So let's get started. And I'm saving, this is the juice that I have for the from the garbanzo beans. Half of this I have to use for this, and the other half I'm going to use for a hummus recipe, to give it the nice flavor of the garbanzo chickpeas in there. So I'm going to get going to saute the vegetables that I'm going to saute in olive oil. Add the rice, add the water. This is a vegan dish, and I'm not making vegetable stock because there's enough vegetables here to give it a nice flavor. Let's go. I'm going to get that olive oil in there. It's a good amount. It's probably close to a 1/4 cup, maybe less. This is the stem from the broccoli, which you don't waste. You peel it off, you slice this, and you could swear that when you bite into it, it tastes like a piece of water chestnut. Good thing to know. So we're going to saute the vegetables. I cut them large because I want to see them, especially the shallots, the carrots. Put the bay leaves in there, the garlic. You could roast the garlic separate if you want to have that roasted flavor. But I'm not looking for that this time, but I do love roasted garlic. Let's raise the flame a little. I'm going to put 1 teaspoon at a time. The fragrance on this is the best. If you open up dry thyme and it smells like this, like fresh thyme, you've got something good. Like I've said, go to a store that specializes only in spices and herbs. Not the supermarket, not your deli. You don't know how long this stuff's been sitting around or in the warehouse. This company ships. They have a website. Anyway, I put a little cumin in there. That's 2 teaspoons. I want this to be a little Middle East type flavor today. But you don't have to put cumin. I'll sweat this up nicely. You know, with some nice ingredients, it makes the rice taste so good. And if you don't want this vegan style, use chicken stock, use beef stock. But don't use those beef cubes or those chicken cubes, the dry thing, that dry stuff. Don't use that. You buy the chicken stock soup broth that's in a can. Collagen is good stuff. So if you can make your own chicken soup, do that, and then save the chicken for chicken salad if you boil it. And if you have roast chicken, don't throw the bones out. I don't care if my wife chewed on the bones or the dog. I will boil the bones up and make a nice stock to use in something like this or whatever else I'm doing. Okay, we'll lower the flame a little. I'll give this another minute. Smell the thyme and the cumin in there. I'll get ready with the rice. So I go with this type of rice, long grain brown rice, and it's organic. How wonderful. I'm going 1 cup to 1.5 cups of liquid. And as soon as it comes to a boil, I simmer it. I'm going to put salt and pepper in there now. So that's good enough. Now I add the rice. And, you know, they say you're supposed to stir the rice so that it gets coated with the oil or the butter. Well, I hate to tell you, I do it and I don't do it. And the rice tastes the same when I get done. And looks the same. But just to make you happy, let's mix up the rice. And let's get some salt in there right now. I'm using sea salt, so you got to be careful. It's a little stronger. So I'm just going to put 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt. And butter, pepper, black pepper. Oh, that's about 1/2 teaspoon. I like pepper. Okay. Nicely mixed up. You get an idea, even though this will bulk up 3 times the size, so I think there's enough vegetables in there. And now we'll add the water or the chicken stock. Oops, you know what I forgot? This, a little garbanzo. I'm going to put in just about Did you see that? That's almost a little more than 1/2 cup because I need the rest for something else. So that'll be 2. And 1 more. Now what I always do, I give it a stir, get this flame up high. Now I taste it to see if there's enough salt in there. I don't like to add salt in a rice dish after it's done. That's fine. Nothing has to be real salty. And it has a nice flavor right now. That means it'll be even better later. So this comes to a boil. The second it boils, lower it down to the lowest setting that you can, which is low or just below low, just so you see a little flame. This way you wind up with nothing stuck to the bottom of the pan. And use something thick like this, aluminum. Don't use those tinny pans because you tend to scorch things. Okay, that's how simple this is. Wait till it boils, cover it, lower it, give it about, I guess, a 1/2 hour, and then we'll check it. While the rice is still cooking, This brown long grain rice takes much longer than regular rice. So it's cooking so slowly, just about an hour. So we're going to saute. I found some red pepper. That'll go in there very nicely also. A little sea salt, a little pepper, and another drop of cumin. So that in itself will take, and these vegetables won't rely upon the rice to pick up any flavor. And there are the little pieces of stem that I said after you peel it. So you have a lot more broccoli in there. Nice high flame. You want to get this done fast and give a little color if we can. Then I'll throw the chickpeas in there and the scallions, and you just toss it into the rice when it's ready, which should be a few minutes from now. So on a high flame, just saute this. You'll get a little color. It'll take a few minutes, and then just push it off to the side. Just don't overcook the broccoli. That's been about another 2 to 3 minutes on a high flame, but I like mine al dente, so I'm going to put the garbanzo beans in there. And when I mix this with the rice, I might add some more garbanzo. Well, it's not garbanzo with rice, it's rice with garbanzo beans, chickpeas, so yeah, that should be enough. Now we'll just shut that off, wait a few more minutes. The scallions are ready. Like I said, every rice is different. Some take 1.5, some take double the amount of liquid. As you see, there's nothing left on the bottom there really, and it's still very firm. So we're going to put a 1/2 cup of water in there. But it's looking good. And if you want to add more salt, you can. That could take about another teaspoon of salt, but I stay away from salt. So really taste it yourself, and at this point, you'll see if you want to add more or not. I'm going to put hot sauce in there also for me. Well, it's finally done. I don't know, about 1.5 hours. I found a couple of more items that really go nice in here. Dried cranberries, and I love in rice toasted almonds. So, you mix all of this up with the scallions, and the garbanzo beans with the broccoli and peppers. Mix this up well. Put it on a plate and chopped parsley. This is my dinner tonight, so I'm going to sit down now and enjoy this, and I hope you do too.